Hi, my dog lovers. Hi, this is Dr. Dobias here. I am super excited today because I have the most important healing principle that I learned about in the course of the last 30 years of being a veterinarian. Now, I know that this may sound too good to be true, but it is really simple and it'll make a huge difference in your dog's life. Now, I dare to say that it'll add years to your dog's healthy, happy, and long life. I have asked my friend and graphic artist to help me to explain how important this particular principle is. And we have worked tirelessly on creating the simplest and the best possible way to transfer it to you. So I hope you'll enjoy it, that you will share it with others. And please, if you have any questions, send us feedback through the website at peterdobias.com. Enjoy. When I was a child, I really loved learning from pictures. Whether it was chemistry or natural principles or laws, art or geography, pictures were the most amazing way of learning for me. And when I started to think of how to convey the most important piece of information that you can actually use to make your dog healthy and long living, I naturally came to pictures. I also love to travel. And I was very much inspired when I visited the African savannah. It was a trip of a lifetime with my mother, who celebrated 70, and we wanted to go somewhere. And as I was watching the animals living a very simple but beautiful and rich life, I couldn't stop thinking about how perfect nature is. When you look at this picture, it shows clearly what happens in nature. The nutrients come from the soil, in plants, and the plants are eaten by the herbivores. Then they have a bowel movement and nutrients go back. Or nutrients go back by the animals dying when they get old. Or when they're a little less lucky, they're eaten by lions and other carnivores, hyenas, vultures. And those animals, once again, have a bowel movement, the nutrients go back to the soil, or they die and again feed and nourish the soil and the plants, and the cycle pretty much closes. These animals also roam in a relatively small area. They don't get transported from place to place. So the nutrients recycle, the minerals recycle in one area. And once the animals die, all of it goes back to the soil and the cycle can start again or go on. In the past 100 or so years, we have been consistently and increasingly interrupting the natural nutrient cycle. Our food is not what it used to be. It is depleted and the nutrients are missing. Now, in order to explain that, we created another picture. When it comes to the modern nutrient cycle, humans have invented food transportation. We started transporting food, whether frozen or fresh, by ship, by planes, by trains, by trucks. And this created a serious problem. A good example would be produce grown in California. Food from California is carried away to, let's say, Joan and Loki in Ontario. Best case scenario, this food will be eaten and then it will go into compost in the local area. It would be too costly, too expensive for farmers to try to source or bring the compost back. Like it's basically impossible. Now, worst case scenario, the food will be wasted and will end up in landfill because it's not eaten or someone bought too much food. And obviously the nutrient cycle is interrupted. So the Californian soils, and I'm using California as an example, this is happening everywhere, become more and more depleted of nutrients. And minerals cannot be made. They just have to come from soil and they have to be recycled. But because this is not happening, our food gets more and more depleted. And this is why our bodies and our dogs' bodies, our pets' bodies are depleted. Because we have abused and used soil for more than 100 years in such a way that it will never be replenished. And as we kind of repeat the cycle, the modern cycle, unsustainable cycle of nutrients, our food is getting more and more and more depleted. As you know, there are trillions of reactions, chemical reactions happening in the body, roughly about 37 trillion. It may be less or more. It's hard to count, but it's a lot. These reactions cannot happen without essential nutrients such as minerals. The same way you cannot build a bike or a car or a plane without parts. In medicine, we've come up with very sophisticated methods of healing. But quite often we forget that without the building blocks, our body, our dog's bodies cannot stay healthy. If there is no sodium or no sulfur or no selenium, no magnesium, serious problems can happen in the body. The organs, the skin, the nervous system, everything is dependent on having sufficient amount of minerals. Because of my interest in nutrition, I came up with a solution several years back of creating a mineral and amino acid supplement from algae. First, I tested it on humans in my family because we always test on humans before we give the products to dogs and other animals. And I started to see some really incredible changes, more energy, better stamina, just feeling so good. I don't drink coffee, but I started to feel like it was something similar. After we went through the initial testing, we made Greenman, and the reviews and testimonials started to come in. And I was blown away. I didn't know that a simple mineral support can make so much difference. And some of the medical conditions and health problems that my patients had started to improve and disappear. And I knew that we were onto something really big, even though it's super simple. There are many other essential nutrients, such as omega oils and vitamins and even probiotics. But if there is nothing else that I could get, I would get mineral support. Because without minerals, our dogs and ourselves cannot be healthy. Now, I'm a realist, and I know that some of you may still think, well, my dog is eating healthy food and organic food, and it contains everything. And if you do believe it, I would suggest and urge you to run Hair Key Test, which is a hair test that I created for people who want to understand their dog's mineral profile and toxin profile a little better. Now, Hair Key Test is a test that is done by collecting your dog's hair or your own hair and analyze it in a plasma induction method. Now, this method basically dissolves the hair to atoms. There is a counter, very sophisticated equipment that counts the number of atoms of, let's say, sulfur or iron or magnesium, calcium, and so on. It also can monitor and give us levels of heavy metals and toxins such as arsenic or mercury or lead. So it gives you a really good idea how your dog is doing and what minerals are missing. What I learned in medicine and in my practice is that most dogs that are ill are also depleted or toxic. So this is a good way to determine how your dog is doing. And if you are still in doubt if minerals are needed or not. There are some serious issues in nutrition these days, whether it's toxic fish with mercury or whether it's depleted vegetables and produce and meat. So if you want to keep your dog healthy, I really urge you to learn more about minerals. I would love you to look at Greenman and read about what nutrients it contains and how we formulate it to provide your dog with not only minerals, but also amino acids and cleansing greens. And I sometimes feel a little conflicted because I wish I didn't make Greenman, because if I didn't make it, I would be able to promote it much more. I'm just going to say ferociously, because I think it's one of the keys to healthy nutrition. But because I make it, I sometimes have been, I'm just going to say, too humble. But then I thought, screw it. This is about our dogs. This is about our best friends. This is about our family members. This is about our own health. I really appreciate you watching this video, and I hope that you will share it with others, that you will think about everything that I just said here and ask us questions. Email us through our website at peterdobias.com. And if you want to learn more about Greenman and our animal support, it is either on the page that you're browsing it, or you can go to greenman.com if you're on a different page. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed this little brief course on mineral nutrients. Give your dog a hug for me. Take care. Bye-bye.